Hey tribe, welcome back. Welcome back to Live Life Your Terms. I'm Chad, by the way. And in this video, I want to dissect like one sentence from Neville Goddard that he said in The Power of Awareness in chapter 9. And chapter 9 was about preparing your place. And he said one sentence in this chapter I thought was very, very interesting. And this is what he said. In spite of your appearance of freedom of action, you obey, as everything else does, the law of assumption. So to me, this was very interesting because, even if you're an entrepreneur or not an entrepreneur, we all listen to the mega influencers, Alex Hormozi, and so forth and so forth. And they always say about take action, take action, take action, ignore your mood and take action. Okay, but for this one sentence, before we dissect it, I'm going to tell you what I thought really quick, is that it's not about taking action. It's about controlling your assumption, what you assume to be true for you. Okay, action is secondary, but your assumption is first. But I really want to dissect what Neville Goddard really meant by this. And by the way, this is going to be a super casual video because I got my avocado smoothie right here. I was hungry and thirsty at the same time. So I'm going to drink my avocado smoothie at the same time I'm doing this video. So I might make you hungry, so hang in there. So let's jump into this. What did Neville mean by, in spite of the appearance of freedom, you obey as everything else does the law of assumption? So let's highlight this. And this is something that really stood out to me because like I said in the beginning of the video, when it says, in spite of the appearance of freedom of action, you obey as everything else does the law of assumption. So to me, really fast, it really just sounds like that Neville Goddard is kind of disagreeing with taking action. It's all about your assumption, what you assume to be true for you. That's way more important than taking action itself. Now, when we dig a little bit further, Neville is saying in this quote that everything in the physical world, including your actions, is secondary to your state of consciousness. I mean, isn't that amazing? This is kind of what I was thinking in the very beginning. So I'll repeat that one more time. Neville is saying that everything in your physical world, including your actions, is secondary to your state of consciousness. He's pointing out that universal hierarchy, your inner state, which is your assumption, and I'll highlight this for you here. Your inner state, your assumptions, equals to your outer behavior, your actions, which equals to your visible results. So think about it this way. This is how it works. By Neville Goddard standards, is your inner state is what you assume to be true for you. It first starts in your inner state. It first starts what you think about yourself, your assumptions, what you assume to be true for you. Okay, then after that point, it goes to action. Now, what I like to call action is intuitive action. What I mean by intuitive action is you follow your intuition, you follow your gut feelings, then that leads to manifesting things coming into your visible world. This is what Neville Goddard is meaning. But let's dig a little bit deeper. So even though it seems like we have freedom of action, we actually don't. Not in the way people think, because every action you take, I really want you to listen to this. Every action you take, every word you speak, and every opportunity that appears is already being moved by the assumption you hold within. I'll repeat that one more time because it's a little bit confusing, and I'll explain what I mean here. Listen, because every action you take, every word you speak, and every opportunity that appears is already being moved by your assumption you hold within. So what does Neville mean by this? It means that whatever you hold in your assumptions, whatever you assume to be true for you, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to be wealthy. So your whole assumption, you go inside your imagination, you create wealth inside your imagination. And what he means by this is that the actions you take, your intuition that you have is aligned with your assumptions. So all your gut feelings, your intuitions, your thoughts are aligned with being wealthy. But the reverse is true also. If all you're thinking about all day long is scarcity and poverty being negative, your intuitions, your gut feelings, the actions that you have, the thoughts that you have are only aligned with those assumptions. So it's only aligned with poverty, scarcity actions. That's what Neville Goddard is trying to get to the point here. So in plain words, you're not acting independently. You're acting in obedience to the belief you've accepted as true. Okay, this is kind of going deep here, but it kind of makes a little bit of sense if you really sit back and listen to this. Okay, listen. We think we act independently, okay? We think nobody else is in control. But if we think about higher consciousness, we think about our imagination is connected to a higher source. Listen, you're not acting independently. You're acting in obedience to the belief you've accepted to be true. Okay, this is what I just described to you earlier is you're in alignment. You're in alignment with your assumptions. If your assumptions is that you're wealthy, your actions are going to align with that. Okay, but if your assumptions is that, you know what, I don't believe this stuff. This sounds all like spiritual mumbo jumbo. I don't believe it. I don't believe Neville Goddard. Well, what's true? It's kind of like your actions will be aligned with that assumption. You understand that? It's like I kind of wanted to say, I was kind of stumbling over my words, I apologize, but I kind of wanted to say, because I kind of gave that example, is that what you believe to be true for you is true. What I believe to be true for me is true. Okay, we're both right. In essence, nobody is wrong because you're right because your subconscious mind will make it true for you. And I'm right because my subconscious mind will make it true for me. And I'm talking subconscious mind, but if I start talking Neville Goddard lingo, like in this, is that what you believe to be true for you are your assumptions, and your assumptions are aligned with your actions and visible results. Does that make more sense? So listen. So if you assume you're wealthy, your actions naturally flow from that state. Calm, decisive, and expansion. If you assume you're struggling, your actions will unconsciously reflect limitation, which are hesitation, worry, lack, worry, doubt, and fear. Okay, everything's aligned together. Your outer movements only echo your inner conviction. I'll repeat that one more time because that's really, really amazing. Listen, your outer movements, your outer actions only echo your inner convictions. Hey friends, just a quick little intermission here. We'll jump right back to the video. But if you're really trying to figure this stuff out, if you're really trying to live life on your terms, you really need to check out the description, because in the description is where I keep all the nuggets and all the resources. If you're new here, start right here. We got stuff like the power drops, which is totally free, by the way. We got the 30-day challenge. And of course, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is here. And if you want to try to work with me, the link is right here as well. Like I said, my friends, if you really want to try to make this stuff happen, if you really want to live life on your terms, always keep up to date with the description, because that's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, let's get back to the video. So how do we put this in practice here? Yes, Neville is saying stop forcing outer action and start obeying your inner assumption. That doesn't mean do nothing. It means act only from the state of the wish fulfilled, not from lack, fear, or trying to make things happen. When your assumption is solid, inspired action arises naturally. It's not effort, it's expression. And I love what Neville kind of said down here. Listen to this really fast. Okay. When your assumption is solid, inspired action arises naturally. Now, in Neville Goddard lingo, and a lot of people that teach Neville Goddard, lots of times they talk about inspired action. What is inspired action? Okay. Now, inspired action is exactly what I said in the beginning of the video, is what I like to call intuitive action. is that you follow your intuition. When you have intuition to do something, you do it. When you have a gut feeling to do something, you do it. You have that little voice that makes you seem like you're crazy that says, do this, Chad. You follow it. Okay, because what Neville Goddard is saying is that your assumptions are aligned with the actions you're going to take, which manifest in your outside world. So your assumptions are aligned with your actions, but your actions, you're not trying to force things to happen. Okay, remember, force negates. Okay, it's inspired. Okay, you kind of have an inspiration to do something. You have an intuitive nudge to do something. You have a gut feeling to do something, and you follow those gut feelings because that will take you closer to your assumption. That will take you closer to your wish fulfilled. That will take you closer to your dream life. That will take you closer to what you want in plain English. Okay. So let's sum everything up here. Listen to this. You don't make things happen. You allow your assumption to express itself through you. Other than that, tribe, let's wrap this thought up. What I really want to know is, what do you think about this? What do you think about the term of taking action? Like, do you agree with this stuff I just shared with you? Do you agree that your assumptions, what you assume to be true for you, or what your assumption is, what you want, as far as your desire, is aligned with the actions you're going to take? But the action you take is actually intuitive action, meaning you following your gut feelings, intuition, the little voice that says to do something. And that is what you see in your physical world. But the basics here, no matter what your assumption is, no matter what you assume to be true, positive or negative, your actions are always aligned with your assumptions. That's what Neville Goddard is trying to point out here. So what do you think about this? So I really want to know, comment below, because I know this topic, especially taking action, can be like all over the place because especially if you're an entrepreneur in an entrepreneurial world, it's always about taking action, ignoring your feelings, take action. You know what I mean? Don't overthink, take action. You know, we hear this all the time, all over the internet, all over social media, all over shorts, all over TikTok, all over Instagram, the same BS. So what is your take on it? So comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And other than that, tribe, I'll see you in the next video.